Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Young here, and today I'm back in another Fortnite video, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about which controller I think is better to use, if the Xbox controller or the PS4 controller is the best controller to use, because if you guys don't already know, I ended up buying a PS4 controller just a couple months ago, and I want to give my opinions on it and criticisms on what I think about it and which controller I think would work best for you, because it may not be exactly what you think, because the PS4 controller really does have a lot of benefits, and I want to explain why you may or may not want to use either or. So if you guys want to know what I think is the best controller to use, definitely stay to the end of the video because you guys will find this video very helpful. And real quick, before we get into the video, up on the screen I have the V-Buck giveaway winner of this week. I give away V-Bucks every single Friday, so if you guys would like to participate in the next giveaway and win some free V-Bucks, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you guys get notified for every single new upload and when I announce the winners every Friday. And lastly, make sure you guys put down your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account down in the comment section below, and you guys will be automatically entered into the giveaway. And lastly, if you guys like to support me in the item shop, all you guys have to do, go down to the bottom right, hit on support a creator, type in my creator code, which is Young Humor, and you guys will have me added and supported as a creator in the item shop. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I want to be sharing with you guys which controller I think is the best, if the Xbox controller is going to be the best, or if the PS4. And real quick, one thing to mention, it is going to be kind of interesting on the next-gen consoles, because the PS5 controller is slightly different than the PS4 controller, so maybe that's going to be different as well, which I'll probably make a video in the future covering, what I think of that controller, just because I haven't quite played on it, and it might be something that I really like. So I'll keep you guys updated. I'll definitely make a video if I try out the controller. But as far as the Xbox or PS4 controller and which one to use, I'm kind of mixed on it for a couple of reasons. Now, I want to share with you guys my experience with using the controller. So I ended up buying a paddle PS4 controller a couple of months ago during the summer, and I gave it a good try. I tried it out in a couple of games, got a good feel of it, and there was a couple of things that I noticed that I want to be sharing with you guys in this video, and kind of just what overall I think about the controller, because currently I do play on an Xbox controller, and that's going to be the controller that I'm going to be playing with. But when I was playing out the PS4 controller, there was a lot of benefits as far as, say, the touchpad. The touchpad was a huge benefit in just the way of, just having an extra button that's super accessible, that's, in the middle of your controller, and you can use it very easily. That is a huge benefit of the PS4 controller. But one of the main things that I found to be one of the biggest differences between the Xbox and the PS4 controller, and kind of just my overall opinions, I felt that the Xbox controller was a better controller to use if you guys play with paddles, because as you guys know, I do play with paddles. I use 4 on my Xbox controller. I used to have the Elite controller, and then now I use an Evil controller, which I have the description, or the link in the description, if you guys want to check out the website that I got my controller from. I really do like it. I think it's a great controller, and I highly recommend. But I did have a paddle PS4 controller, exact same paddles and everything, but I did notice that it just felt slightly a little bit more uncomfortable when I used the PS4 controller with paddles versus the Xbox one, and that just had to do with the joystick placement, just the way the joysticks were. It felt like I had to, in a sense, stretch out my fingers a little bit more to be able to reach the paddles on a PS4 controller over the Xbox controller, having more of a staggered analog sticks, and also just the way it just felt overall. It just felt a little bit more difficult to press the paddles. It still is doable, and if you're really used to the PS4 controller, it could probably be fine, but I felt like it was a little bit more of a hassle, and it just didn't feel anywhere as close as being comfortable as, say, the Xbox controller. But however, when I was using the PS4 controller, one thing you're going to notice is that when it comes to like the 4 buttons, so on the Xbox you have the X, A, Y, and B, and then on the PlayStation controller you have like the triangle, the circle, the square, and the X button. When it comes to those buttons, you're going to notice that they're going to be a little bit more flat than the Xbox controller buttons. The buttons on the Xbox one are going to be a little bit more round, kind of in a sphere, and then the ones on the PS4 are going to be significantly more flat, which could be a huge benefit for people who play with claw. So I think the PS4 controller is going to be a better controller if you play on claw. So like I said, if you play with paddles, I think Xbox is way more comfortable and the way to go. But I think if you play with claw, I think the PS4 controller can be your best bet, because the buttons are a little bit flat, and also you're able to play double claw on PS4, and you're not really able to do that on Xbox. I mean, you could, but it is pretty awkward to try to use the joystick with your pointer finger. It just doesn't feel very good. So if you're a player who likes claw or even double claw, your best bet is going to be a PS4 controller. But the reason why, I know a lot of you guys ask, why I don't play claw. Personally, I don't play it because I feel like I'm going to get arthritis by 25, just because it really just hurts my fingers a ton. So I do play with paddles for that sole reason, and playing with paddles just feels a lot more comfortable, and I'm just used to it overall. But if you're the type of player who plays with claw, I think the PS4 controller really can be a great move, because like I said, you're able to actually play double claw without being super awkward. And if you just want to play regular claw, it's not going to be bad at all, because you're going to have the flat buttons, which a lot of people say are more comfortable, and at the same time you do have a touchpad, so you basically have 5 buttons that you can hit over the 4 on the Xbox controller, which could be a big deal breaker, because on Fortnite there's just so many different buttons that you have to hit. You have like your building, editing, jumping, pickaxe, and really anything else that you can mention. There's so many different buttons that you need to have as accessible as possible, and playing or just having an extra button as a touchpad really is a great thing to have. And I wish the Xbox had something similar. That would be something that I wish they would add, but they probably wouldn't, because Sony has some sort of trademarks or whatever the case may be. They wouldn't be able to add it, but it definitely is a cool feature of the PS4 controller. So those are really just my general thoughts of playing on the PS4 controller. I ended up selling it to one of my friends just because, like I said, I think it works a lot better when you play claw, but the paddles just overall really weren't that comfortable. I couldn't get used to them. I mean, I was able to play somewhat decently, and another thing I did notice is I did have a lot less stick drift on my PS4 controller. Now that could just be, maybe I got lucky and it just happened to have like no stick drift, but I was able to play on the lowest dead zones, which I think are 5%. So I was able to play on 5% dead zones on both, which is awesome. I barely had any stick drift at all. Maybe, like I said, maybe I got lucky, because some of you guys have a ton of stick drift, but at least in my experience, I really didn't have much with that controller, so that was a big bonus as well. And I also know a lot of you guys play with non-paddle and non-claw. I've made a ton of like bind videos on the best non-paddle, non-claw controller binds to use, and it definitely gets a lot more views than, say, if I just do claw binds or paddle binds. So when it comes to just playing normal, I think it really doesn't matter. It's just a personal preference on which one you like. I'm more comfortable in the Xbox controller, so I'll tend to go with that. So when it comes to just playing normally, if you just play it like normal, no paddle, no claw, I think it really doesn't matter which controller that you want to use. Maybe you might have an advantage having the touchpad on PS4, but I think there really is no difference, and it just comes down to personal preference. But when it comes to paddles, I find that Xbox way more comfortable. Highly recommend playing on Xbox over PS4 if you are looking to use paddles. But if you guys are playing claw and you have the option, I think PS4 is going to be the way to go with, the buttons that you have that are more flat, and also the touchpad is just going to be a much better experience for you. So those are just all my opinions and just what I think about the controllers. Definitely leave in the comment section below which controller you guys play on, and also why you like that controller, because I think it also comes into play as well. For people who use paddles, maybe hand size are a little bit different. So if someone has maybe smaller hands or even like larger hands than me, then it could make a huge difference on how it feels. But I'm just giving my personal opinion on my experience, because I did drop $200 on a paddle PS4 controller just to try it out, because you guys tell me, I should try out these, like I should play claw, I should play on PS4. So I ended up getting a controller. I tested it out, gave it a little bit of a go, and those are just my full opinions on which controller I think is the best, which one to use, and which ones I would just overall recommend. But with that being said, I really appreciate you guys watching the video. If you guys could, make sure you guys do drop a like. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Hit that notification bell so you guys get notified for every single new upload. And as well, I do live stream every single day on the channel at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys do hit that notification bell so you guys get notified for every single new live stream. But with that being said, appreciate you guys watching the video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.